Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to the social studies class, the part of political science. We are going to learn today Indians foreign policy. Regarding this chapter, we are going to some important points. They are nature of Indian foreign policy, the nature of foreign policy, principle of Panchashila and non-alignment policy, disarmament and appropriate policy. These are the important points regarding this chapter we are going to learn in today's class. My dear students, think yourself, is it possible to live alone on this earth? Can you able to living alone in this earth? No, we cannot live alone in this earth. Yes. Okay, then can you say how can you mingle with everyone? Yes, we are mingle with everyone during playing, during studying, even during parties, like friends in the home. Then does a farmer as a necessity of somebody? Yes, even the farmer is also necessity of somebody. The farmer is also depend on others. Yes. Okay, let us. Does a trader has a necessity of somebody? Yes, even the trader is also a necessity of somebody. Yes, my dear students, whose necessity does a rich man has? Yes, the Reliance Ambani, the Reliance owner, proprietor, Ambani, Dhirubhai Ambani's sons, Anil Ambani and Mukesh Ambani, are they depend on others? Because they have sufficient money. Yes, although they have depend on others. Yes, my dear students, this is because every man can depend on others. In the meanwhile, every country should be depend on other countries, because we are not independents. Everybody is depend on each other to fulfill their needs or necessities. Yes. Even the farmer has to sell the goods what he has grown, and also trader has to sell his goods. An entrepreneur needs employees. Rich people need workers. In this way, each person has a necessity of one or another person. Yes. Think, my dear students. In this way, you can think in this way. Can a country live alone without having any connections with the other countries? Is it possible? No. It is not. It is impossible. Every country can be dependent on other countries. There is no one country is to fulfill their needs to independent. And then tell me, which are the situations that leads for a country to have relationship with other nations? Yes, my students. Each country will have a relationship with other nations in order to fulfill their needs. Fulfill their needs. Yes. Out of 200 countries among the world, in the world, out of 200 countries, so very few countries are strong, and most of them are weak among the 200 countries. Yet they have their own foreign. Every country has their own foreign policy. Yes. Did India have such kind of foreign policy before 1947? No. Before 1947, before getting independence of our India, we cannot have such kind of a foreign policy. Reason? What was the reason? Then what is a sovereign? Then what is a sovereign country? Then when did get independence? When did get India's independence? Then what is the benefit of us of getting independence? See, all these questions arise in our mind. Just because of independence, we can take the decisions related to our nation in our own. So, if a country is independent, it can take the decisions related to the country on its own. See, in the same way, it can decide what kind of relationship it should have with other nations in the world. That is called foreign policy. Yes. The relationship it should have with other nations in the world, that is foreign policy. Yes, my dear students. India also has its own foreign policy after 1947, after getting independence. Then India has been considered as one of the major countries of the world with its huge population and huge available of natural resources and military system and intellectuality and industriality and our capacities. Then India is one of the few countries in the world who pursues their own foreign policy. Yes. National interest. What is the national interest in the foreign policy? Yes, a nation should realize that foreign policy is a part of finding the right policy in spite of many policies. In spite of many policies, it is useful to a country. So we can speak of good for international community and international peace also. So finally, every government considers everything from its own perspective. Then the foreign policy of government is based on the long term as well as the short term interest of its own. No government dares to do harm to its own interest. This was said by Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, what are the major aims of Indian policies? Yes, my dear students, the major aims of Indian policies are national security and then the enriching the national economy. Then the third is spreading the cultural richness of our country and with other countries. Then the fourth one is by increasing the number friendly countries and check the power of enemy countries. Yes, by increasing the number friendly countries and check the power of enemy countries like China and Pakistan and others. Yes. And the fifth one is to achieving the world peace and coexistence. World peace and coexistence. These are the major 5 aims are called the Indian foreign policies. One is the national security and the enriching the national economy, and the third aim is to spreading the cultural richness of our country to in other countries. As the fourth one is by increasing number friendly countries and check the power of enemy countries. And the fifth one is achieving world peace and coexistence. These are the major aims of foreign policies. Then, okay, our foreign policy was not. It has influenced by many things. What we have adopted foreign policy, that was influenced by many things. They are national interests, then the geographical interest. The foreign policy can be influenced by geographical interest also, and the political situation in our country, and economic interest of our country, and military issues in our country, and public opinion and international situation. These are the things that are influenced on the foreign policy. Then, what are the basic aspects of Indian policies? Let us read now. What are the basic aspects? The one is Panchashila principles. Pancha means five. Panchashila principles. Panchashila Tattvagalu. Two countries have their own social, economical, political, cultural systems. They have also strived to foster healthy relationship with other countries. We have different types of economy and various forms of governments. Based on the similar lines, in 1954, both India and our rival country, the present rival country is China and Pakistan. Yes, but students, this India and China accepted Panchashila principles to foster their international relationship. Based on the similar lines in 1954, both India and China accepted their international relationship. While our Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and the Prime Minister of Jawaharlal and Chow Enlil was the Prime Minister of China in those days during 1954. What are the Panchashila principles? Yes, respecting each other's sovereignty and regional interest. Respecting each other's sovereignty and regional interest. Then the second one is non-invasion of each other. Non-invasion of each other. ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೊಬ್ಬರು ಆಕ್ರಮಣ ಮಾಡುವಂತಿಲ್ಲ. And non-interference in each other's international issues. This is the third principle of Panchashila. And the mutual cooperation and respect. Mutual cooperation and respect. And the fifth one is peaceful coexistence. These are the five Panchashila principles. Then the second is non-alignment policy. Yes, the world was divided into two power blocks after the end of the Second World War. The democratic countries were under the hegemony of USA, and the communist countries were led by the USSR. One is led by the USA, United States of America, and another team was led by the USSR, Russia. Yes. In those days, India followed the policy of being non-aligned to either of these blocks. Then it was successful in commanding the fate from both the blocks. It secured financial assistance from the USA and security military aid from the USSR. Yes, this is the method what we are following in those days. And it also dealt every international event independently and welcomed and criticized any issues independently. Then the credit of creating an independent policy of being non-aligned and making it part of the foreign policy goes to India. After Jawaharlal Nehru, the Prime Minister of India, like Lal Bahadur Shastri and Indira Gandhi followed the principle of eye for an eye in foreign policy. ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಣ್ಣು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ವಿದೇಶಾಂಗ ತತ್ವಗಳನ್ನು ಅಳವಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡರು. These wars held in 1965 and 1971 with Pakistan were guided by the foreign policy. Yes, 1971 India and Pakistan war. Bangladesh was liberated from the Pakistan. 1971 India is supported to the Bangladesh to liberal from Pakistan. Yes, the Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee tried to reform our foreign policy and strive to have better relationship with Pakistan. This is Atal Bihari Vajpayee was done in their during his administration. And the third is anti-imperialism. The foreign policy of India opposes imperialism. Yes, then what is imperialism? Yes, the imperialism is an attempt by a sovereign country to take over another sovereign country with the intention of ruling it for personal gains. ಏನು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಹಿಡಿತದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಂಪೀರಿಯಾಲಿಸಮ್ ತಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಹಿಡಿತಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ವಿಚ್ ಗೇನ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಇಂಪೀರಿಯಲ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಟು ಅಪೋಸ್ each moves of other countries. No corner of the world shall have imperialism. To declare India in his conference of Asian countries, which was held in the New Delhi during 1949 and 1955. And the fourth one is that's the anti-imperialism. Yes, Aprati is an attempt by a race of people of a particular skin color to subjugate another race of people of different skin color and the same of the supremacy. The Aprati is an affront to human rights and world peace. So the foreign policy of India declared that no country of the world shall practice this type of apartheid policy. Yes, till recently the minority, the white people were ruling the majority black people in the South Africa. India had declared its support to Nelson Mandela and his party, African National Congress, who were opposing the apartheid in their country. Then the fifth one is disarmament. What is the disarmament? The process of elimination of specific arms step by step is called disarmament. Once again, my students, the process of elimination of specific armaments step by step is called disarmament. Yes, there is an increased competition of the production and the sale and collection of arms in the world. Many of the countries are worried that the massive scale of arms could lead to the world war, third world war. So that's why countries with massive arms may attack another country intentionally. So, or by mistake, or by accident triggering the massive devastation. So there is an increased these type of using armaments are not necessary. That is our principle of our India. So India, being a peace-loving country, our India is peace-loving country, and advocates for the reduction of arms qualitatively as well as quantitatively. So since the time of Nehru, India has supported disarmament process. So though it is impossible and impractical to attain a total disarmament, as every country needs arms for its protection. An attempt can be made to reduce the number of arms. The Constitution of India's Article 51 advocates for a foreign policy that aims at establishing international peace and cooperation. The Department of External Affairs of central government plays a decisive role in formulating our foreign policy. It always considers our national interest and public opinion also. Yes. Indian foreign policy aims at strengthening the United Nations of organizations. UN ವಿಶ್ವಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಗಟ್ಟಿಗೊಳಿಸತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಅದರ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ವಿದೇಶಾಂಗ ನೀತಿಯ ತತ್ವಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಳವಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. So India strives to have strong foreign policy, foreign relationship with other countries of the world through SAARC, SAA, South Asian Association for Regional and Regional Cooperations, and Commonwealth of Nations as well. Moreover, India has been one of the major members of the UNO. So, India's role in strengthening the USO, this is what we have adopted in our foreign policy to improve, to give the strength of the UNO through our Indian foreign policy. Okay, my dear students, I hope you are all understand our today's class. Thank you very much.